Hello, how is everyone doing? It is your fallen angel back with another video. Today, we are covering the zodiac signs, but a deeper look into the signs as well as the houses. So, the signs of the zodiac are the symbols of the living forms of which among the ancients stood for certain cosmic principles and evolutionary processes. In the zodiacal scroll, the gifted interpreter of symbols will find the history of the human race already depicted. The typical forms represent various stages of human evolution as well as individual as racial. Observe then that the zodiac is composed of asterisms, which in the year 25,400 BC corresponded with the solar signs, bearing the same names. The signs are counted from the vernal equinox, or the point where the sun's path crosses the Earth's equator. The line traversed by the sun in the annual path through the asterisms is called the ecliptic. So guys, no matter where we start from, no matter what story we hear, how the cosmos was created, whether it be the Big Bang, Brahman story, whether it be the Orphic egg, all these stories will tell you that it began about 26,000 years ago, or precisely 25,400 years ago. Regardless, this is the start point we know, regardless of the story, for how the cosmos began. This ecliptic circle is divided into 12 equal parts, called signs, which, counted from the vernal equinox, are as follows: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricornus, Aquarius, and Pisces. So, we understand that all these signs in this circle have their trine, their quadruplicity, and they also have an opposition. This also applies for Chinese astrology. We understand that the circle explains the trine, but it also explains the direct opposite on the circle. So, Aries is opposed by Libra, Taurus is opposed by Scorpio, Gemini is opposed by Sagittarius, Cancer is opposed by Capricorn, Leo is opposed by Aquarius, Virgo is opposed by Pisces, and vice versa. And this also applies to Chinese astrology when we look at the graph, whether it be the monkey and the tiger, the pig and the snake. It's just directly opposite of each other will be its opposition or its enemy. The elemental natures of the signs, with their human correspondences, are shown in the following tabular scheme. So, we know that the fire signs are Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius. And these principles apply to how they correspond with each other. We understand that there is a total of 5 elements: fire, air, water, earth. And then the final element that we can't see is known as ether time space. So, or in other cultures, they will call it chi, right? They will call this chi. So if we were to work from our right thumb, we would know this to be ether or chi, this to be water, then earth, then fire, air. The majority of the planets being in the fire signs shows that the life is expressed chiefly in the inspirational, aspirational, and intuitive faculties. In air signs, the intellectual life will be dominant. In water signs, the passional, emotional, and imaginative qualities are more pronounced. While if the majority of the planets are in earth signs, the more material, matter-of-fact, or sordid aspects of the nature absorb the vital powers. So we see that depending on which time of the year it is, what the cosmos looks like above, the screenshot of the cosmos during this time frame will denounce how things will arrive in this cosmos and how they're all intertwined together, right? For fire to become larger, air is needed. For the water to submerge, there has to be an earth to hold it as a material thing. These groups are otherwise known as igneous, gaseous, or fluidic, and mineral, analogous to the upward evolution of the material universe, which is counterbalanced by the downward involution of the corresponding immaterial principles. So, this concept explains the as above, so below ideology, What's going on in the astrology point, the astronomy point, what's going on above us is going to be directly a mainframe of what's going on in the physical plane, right? Whether this be temperament, personality, biases, things of that nature. We're all interwoven together because of this astrological principles. The analysis of the sign grouping show that the fire and air signs are related to the formless or superior universe, while the water and earth signs relate to the inferior or more formative world. Again, it will be noticed the air and fire are mutably conformable, ignition, depending on atmosphere, while similarly, water is necessary to the earth for its fertilization. These sets of signs are mutile sextile to one another. So we can see how they're needed to each other, right? They're vice versa to each other, and they can cancel each other out as well. We also know this in the Chinese astrology as well, with the 5 elements that can cancel each other out as well. Whether this be wood, metal, earth, fire, right? In the Chinese understanding. But in the astrological symbolism, it explains how these two are mutual. And in essence, it's a mutual sextile to one another. The constitutional natures of the signs are derived from another grouping. They are known as the fixed or basic, common or flexed, movable or cardinal. This is the terms that are shown on many graphs, and it's more than likely that's what most people know it as. But for the most part, it can also be translated as acute, grave, or circumflex. They may very appropriately be expressed as the acute, the grave, and the circumflex. The groupings for the division of the signs is this. When the majority of the planets are found at the birth of a person to be in, whether it be fixed signs, the nature will be independent, self-reliant, pivotal, self-centered, original, cautious, firm, and steadfast. Common signs, the nature is versatile, flexible, complacent, sympathetic, suave, and capable of adapting itself to changes of company and environment. Movable signs, the nature shows ambition, aptitude, executive ability, capable of cutting out of a line in life for itself and making headway in the face of obstacles. So we see how each thing has its own quadruplicity, right? It has its own nature, right? Whether it be a cardinal sign, fixed or mutable. Each element has one of each. It has a cardinal, fixed, and mutable in each of the elements, whether it be fire or air or water or earth. They all have their own quadruplicity. The driving power is represented by the fixed signs, the sharp instrument by the cardinal or acute signs, and the body that is riven or shaped is denoted by the common or flex signs. The thinkers, philosophers, inventors, and originators are of the basic or fixed type. The pioneers, the executives, the partisans, and zealots are of the acute or cardinal type. The common populace, the passive crowd, the numerous agents, fetchers, and carriers of business, and whoever works at the direction and under the leadership of others, are all and sundry are of the flex type. The hand of the archer is fixed, the arrow is direct and acute, and the bow is flexed. These correspondences are the keys to the interpretation of many occult mysteries. So this explains how life comes about. This explains how there is a connection between the cosmos and how humans interact, and how humans act and their temperaments, and how there is love and suffering, and how all these things come together. The sex of the signs. The signs are alternately male or female. So it goes male, female, male, female. This also goes for Chinese astrology as well. Starting off, it starts from male and all the way down to female. So Aries, assertive male. Taurus, passive feminine. Gemini, assertive masculine. Cancer, passive feminine. Leo, assertive masculine. Virgo, passive feminine. Libra, assertive masculine. Scorpio, passive feminine. Sagittarius, assertive masculine. Capricorn, passive feminine. Aquarius, assertive masculine. And Pisces, passive feminine. So, we understand these things are working in duality. Everything in this cosmos is working off duality. For each pole, there should be another pole to come to it. A negative should have its positive. A masculine should have its feminine. A passive, and it's assertive. The signs are divided into 3 parts, each of which are 10 degrees, called decanates. These are related to the superior, middle, and lower regions of the zones, governed by them, or to which they correspond. The ancients had a conception of the macrocosm, under the image of a man, which they called the grand man, or Adam Kadmon, the ideal image of man, and to which the microcosm or individuals corresponded more or less perfectly at all points. The zones of the body, covered by the signs, are in the scheme as followed. So, working our way down, we see how each one of these corresponds to the zodiac. So whether we say Aries is the head, Pisces is the feet, Leo is the heart, we see how all these correspond with the whole entire body. Okay, so we understand the macrocosm is the zodiac, the cosmos, what's in the stars, the planets. That's the macrocosm. The microcosm is the human body, and the head to the feet is the microcosm. From what has been said above it, will he seen that if a planet is in Aries 5 degrees, it has its location in the superior region of the head, while on the 17th degree of Virgo would be located in the middle region of the bowels. As it is to whether it be upon the right or left side of the body will depend on the location of the planet in the heavens, which involves a knowledge of the houses. So soon, guys, we'll go over the concept of houses as well. But for now, we are just sticking to the zodiac signs. If in the 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, or 9th, or 11th house, the left side in a male and the right side is a female, is denoted. A mutandis, if in one of the other houses. Thus, a planet in Gemini 5th degree in the 6th house would denote the right upper arm in a male and the left upper arm in a female. This example would doubtless serve for all others. So this is just a codex, a key for you guys to know how this operates, depending on where it is and how duality is always happening in nature. The signs are also said to have dominion over certain places and countries, but as these do not form an essential part of the doctrine of nativities, the signs, however, have an affinity with those elements to which they belong in the elemental grouping, and this would be found of practical use in the interpretation of horoscopes. So while this one is not necessarily confirmed, this is an ideology that's going to be more and more understood of the 12 vortices along with the 12 zodiac signs. The lunar mansion begins at Aries 0 degrees and are 13 degrees 20 each in extent. The Arabians gave them specific names and influences. Modern astrologers have the most part given them little attention, yet they are the root of the Oriental system of astrology and are by them known as the stations of the moon, or nakshatras in Hinduism. They have analogy with the diurnal motion of the moon. The mansions are 27 in number, each of 800 extent. The moon changes its significance as it goes from one to another mansion. The critical degrees or points of change are as follow. So we have the graph of the degrees that correspond with them. Whether this be Cancer, whether this be Virgo, whether this be Leo, we have a set number of degrees that it moves in the mansions. So we always have to understand that these things are operating off 3s, 6s, and 9s. Whether the mansions are 27, these add up to 9. Whether the 360 is going to add up to 9, 36 plus 0 is going to add up to 9. A lot of these things will add up to 9, the completionary number. There are thus 9 divisions or mansions in each 120 degrees. The Hindus ascribe a specific planetary influence to each of them and give them to each a period of dominion over their life. See Hindu Astrology in the Manual of Astrology by Sefarial if you want more information. The student will do well to consult also the system which divides the zodiac into 28 parts, each quadrant being to a 7-fold dimension or division. So guys, this was just a quick brief on the zodiac signs and their relation to the cosmos. Later, we're going to get into houses as well as a few other things as well. So, feel free to check us out on Rumble, Twitter, Instagram, things of that nature. Also, like and subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment down below. I'd love to check them out. And this has been your Fallen Angel, and I am out.